our co-main event of the evening, brought to you by none other than Last Call Tavern, 7052 Pecos Street, your home for bar games, outdoor seating, and great food and cocktails. They're also the official location for SCL weigh-ins and Media Day, as always. Thank you, Last Call.
And immediately our current champion in this 185-pound title fight, Ian Heinisch, puts it on the ground. His opponent, Charles Hayward, able to get back up, but Heinisch jams him back down onto the ground. Hayward coming to us from the mountains. Avon, Colorado. Hybrid MMA is his gym. Ian Heinisch representing Factory X.
And this is Ian Heinisch's world right here. Literally right in front of us, actually.
Exactly where he wanted this fight to be. On the ground, working his ground and pound, has amazing positional dominance. Looking to lock up the armbar is Hayward. Heinisch puts hand on bicep. He's going to try to clear the elbow. Hayward, this is a good position for him.
This is very good position. He's straightening up that arm.
Starting to extend a little bit. But lost it a little bit when he tried to reach out to hook the leg, so Heinisch couldn't stand up, and then gave up on it because he was burning lots of energy.
But the power and the strength of Ian Heinisch is literally something to behold. I mean, he's unbelievably strong, and especially in a top mount position.
Yeah, with his wrestling background, it's like a 300-pound sack of concrete on top of you that can throw punches. Just the ability to distribute weight, to manage pressure, to control your movements, and to be in the position where you think you're going to go and then shut it down.
Yeah, and for Hayward Charles, he's got to really make an effort to get out of this position against the cage specifically, and we've seen that as the theme tonight. You know, the guys that really are capturing their opponents against the cage are really able to deliver some excruciating power, excruciating pain, and literally control the outcome of the fight so far.
Charles, good job. Tried to set up the triangle choke. Heinisch just backed out of it and then dove back in. And it's a difficult spot for Howard here. Excuse me, Hayward, you said that he needed to get himself off the cage. The problem is, in order to get onto a hip, he has his back against the cage, and that shuts down a lot of his mobility. So it's sort of a lose-lose situation for him there, and I think that shot hurt him a little bit. Now he looks recovered, coming back up. Oh, and a big knee by Heinisch. Nicely done by the Factory X fighter. Hayward knows Heinisch wants his back on the ground, putting that knee block into place, trying to keep Heinisch from closing in.
And it really doesn't matter where you go against Ian Heinisch. I mean, the guy has just unbelievable wrestling skills. And on top of that, JR, he's really able to control everybody's offense. That's the one thing about Ian Heinisch. He doesn't take damage in fights because he controls the offensive part of the fight.
Yeah, he's so dynamic. He's so forward with his pressure that everybody has to be reactionary when they fight him.
That's right.
You know, if he gets a hold of you, he's going to put you on the ground, so you have to be ready for that, and that keeps you from committing to your game.
Oh, and a crushing right hand from Ian Heinisch. But Hayward Charles takes it wonderfully.
That was like Kevin Randleman against Crow Cop there. Looks down for the shot, just basically faked with his eyes there and came over the top with the right hand. Nicely done. And Hayward tried to roll for the knee bar. Heinisch saw it coming.
Such a terrible position to be in against Ian Heinisch.
Charles Hayward trying to lock him up here, shut down some of the ground and pound. Heinisch has had good success with his striking on the ground. And they're over in Heinisch's corner. Mark Montoya able to give instructions, as is Brian Camozzi,
who I think is the baddest man in Colorado.
And Heinisch just continues to work with the striking. Oh, and big elbows coming down now. Really nice job of mixing up what we would think of as busy work and then throwing in a power shot.
That's right.
Back to busy work so the referee doesn't stand you up. The opponent makes an adjustment. You see an opening, you throw a power shot.
And he is just such a suffocating type of fighter. My God. And he's got Hayward Charles cut up pretty bad right now.
Charles trying to roll through. Looking to lock it up. Good job on the defense by Heinisch. Sees it coming. And, yeah, it's just turning into a mask of blood. Happy Halloween, Mr. Hayward. Goodness.
Oh, boy.
And 10 seconds, end of the round. And Mr. Hayward comes up off of his stool and gives a big smile. And Ian Heinisch kind of gives him a smile right back. And I'm going to go ahead and say that that cut was caused by a forearm strike by Heinisch because his forearm's all bloodied up.
Oh, yeah.
Heinisch doing a nice job reading the kicks of Hayward. Able to get the body lock, and Heinisch thought, well, enough with the spinning stuff. Let's put it on the ground again. Hayward looking dynamic with the submission attempts. Oh, good job with the triangle attempt. Nice posturing by Heinisch. Oh, switches to the arm bar, and Hayward does. Heinisch in some trouble here. See if he can clear the arm. Good job splitting the legs. And I think Heinisch a little bit of a pained look on his face.
Oh, wow.
And
what a scramble.
Good job transitioning, machine gun chaining those submission attempts together by Mr. Hayward, but Heinisch in the gym that he's at, he's seen it before, knows what to expect, and when he's in a position where things are going bad, well, he's got the strength to rely on.
I got to tell you, I just feel like Ian Heinisch is really ready for, bigger shows because there's really nobody that can deal here with that type of wrestling prowess that Heinisch displays.
And cut up over the left eye, we can see now is Hayward, and I'm not sure if I'm hoping that's a glob of Vaseline.
It is.
Okay, thank goodness, because I was going to say if that's a chunk of skin, we've got difficulties. And Heinisch one more time going to try to pressure him into the cage, shut down some mobility. We've seen really good active guard work by Hayward. Nice job spinning his hips, trying to get escapes. But Heinisch just always with an answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's virtually impossible to get him off of you if he's in the top position.
Hayward trying to get a hip underneath him here, and Heinisch does a really nice job of sort of fake threatening with the head and arm triangle choke position. That makes Hayward get back down to be square on his back. And Heinisch really effective with his ground and pound here. Early in his career, when you and I saw him on, he could control the position, but his ground and pound didn't have damaging effect.
Yeah,
well, all we have to do is look at the blood smeared all over the mat now and see that there's effect.
And I think that the evolution of Ian Heinisch is kind of what we see now. We see him using the striking to get the takedowns, whereas before he was just blasting through guys and finishing them. But he's now really kind of honed his skills to where he controls where this fight goes based on your fear of his takedown.
Absolutely, that was perfectly stated. And Hayward trying to sneak a leg through, seeing if he can get a butterfly hook in to try to elevate Heinisch, or throws up the triangle again.
Hayward Charles is a dangerous man from the bottom.
That he is. But Heinisch, again, wise to it. Uses the posture. That's just such classic defense. They throw up the triangle, your corner starts screaming, posture.
Yeah.
Before they could even say it, Heinisch was starting to posture up.
Yeah.
And there it was. We talked about it earlier on. Peppering shot, bam, big, heavy shot.
Yeah, and those are the types of shots that can really, I mean, A, they can end a fight instantly, and B, they can really hurt you for a long time.
And as the fight wears on, those just really take a lot out of you. Just, I mean, to deal with the crushing type of effect that those punches have.
And it's getting bloody cage side here.
Got some people starting to lean back. You're right.
Yeah, our staff getting a good wipe down after Ian Heinisch right hand to Hayward Charles.
Go ahead and pass around the Purell.
The wet wipes.
And Hayward, a little longer in between each submission attempt. I think that's, he's just starting to, that grinding effect, just starting to take some of that energy out of him. And it's got to be frustrating, too, knowing, I was close, I almost had it. And no matter what I do, this guy's had an answer for it. And every time that you go for a submission attempt like that, you open yourself up a little bit, too.
That's right. And that's where he's taking the damage.
And there's the 10-second clacker. I think we're going to go into a third.
Third and final round here, just about underway, JR, in this co-main event for SCL53 between Ian Heinisch, the defending 185-pound champion, taking on Hayward Charles here. And I got to tell you, and Ian Heinisch just crushes Hayward Charles with a hard right hand, and Tim Mills looking to step in here just about.
Charles showing just enough movement to show that he's actively defending. But Heinisch, smelling the blood in the water, going to try to go for the finish here. And a lot more blood starting to come out. Charles looking to control the posture.
Big elbows landing from Ian Heinisch.
And Heinisch full mount now, just really working that heavy hip pressure down on the diaphragm of his opponent, shutting down some of his breathing ability. And you're here, you're going into your 12th, 13th minute of a fight. Having your breathing restricted is just absolute misery.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah, that.
But, regardless, let me tell you something. Hayward Charles is one tough guy, number one, and one incredibly skilled ground fighter from the bottom. To be able to avoid really a hellacious beating from Ian Heinisch on top of you requires incredible skill and experience, and I believe that we have seen that from Hayward Charles. He has done everything he humanly possibly can to stay in this fight, and he is looking for a submission every single time.
Yeah, no quit. He knows that it can be just a matter of a few degrees, making that right adjustment, catching your opponent when they make a mistake or they have a moment of where they quit working, going toward the end of the fight. And interestingly enough, I think he just jumped guard there.
He did.
Huh. And Heinisch continues to work away with the strikes. And like you were talking about, Ron, the skill of Hayward Charles on the ground, I mean, yeah, he's marked up, he's bleeding, but the fact that this fight hasn't been stopped,
that's right,
really speaks to how in place his defensive work is.
Yeah, absolutely right. And on top of that, his toughness. We've seen a lot of guys look for the door when Ian Heinisch is on top of you. And Hayward Charles has hung in there and really put on a great, attempt at salvaging this fight from relentless submission attempts when he can, but again, that overpowering wrestling game of Ian Heinisch is really the difference.
And you and I have watched the entirety of his career, and really nobody's had an answer for it.
No one at all. And that's why, that's why I really said I truly believe Ian Heinisch is ready for the next level. And I think that he probably wants to be tested as well at the next level with, maybe some wrestlers that are just as good as he is, or some real high-level elite strikers, just to kind of see where he fits in the food chain.
Yeah, guys like that, guys that have reached the level that these athletes have, they seek out the
hardest challenges.
Yeah, the challenges, exactly.
And he's just got Hayward Charles bloodied up unbelievably. Wow.
Might be a little more work for Doc Alex Constantinides after the end of the show here. And Heinisch going with knee on bicep momentarily. Boy, that was going to take away a lot of the defense of Charles because he's on a hip here with his back against the cage. Charles, good job walking around a little bit, using his feet, pushing off, trying to create a little bit of space for him to be able to work.
And again, let me reiterate this. There is no quit in Hayward Charles at all. Tons of credit to this guy.
And just that jackhammer of a left hand that Heinisch has had going all night. Charles looking to escape, wanted to roll through and grab a leg. Heinisch skipped around nicely.
There's so much blood, it looks like they're oil wrestling. It's crazy.
There's the 10-second clacker. Going to be an easy call for the judges on this one.
And that ought to do it.
After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Garcia scores about 30-27. Judge Ramirez scores about 30-27. Judge Valentine scores about 30-26. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision and still. Most certainly. Now, how close was he to pulling that off at a great time, especially in the second round, a couple of times it looked like?
Yeah, it was real tight. I'm pretty good at against you guys. My hat's off to you. We're going to do a good job tonight.
What's up next after this show on to the next thing?
Well, I'm signed to come back in here, so hopefully Mexico City in December. And I just would like to thank my dad, my mom, my sister, for always being there. I love you guys.